Hi, welcome to the onboarding video. So I'm going to try to make this really quick and efficient. I tend to be long-winded, but hopefully you can watch this on 2x speed, go through the onboarding, get a lot of the needed information on your own time so we can get this kickoff started strong. All right, so with that, I'm going to drop my face from here and I'm going to jump into some of the items needed for the onboarding process. Okay, so what we're going to start with is this: 4 simple things. Intake and access. This is, of course, access to your assets, to your business manager, to everything that's needed. Slack. How do we use Slack? Where are my links in Slack? Am I in a Slack channel? Third, communication and plan. This is going to be some of the best things for success and some of the things that really don't lead to success. And then fourth, of course, this is going to be the specific plan for strategy and approach. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so now we're covering the intake. We're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So first, this is Slack. Everyone should be familiar with Slack. It's basically a communication channel with every needed team member in one place. Now, of course, can you have individual conversations in here? Absolutely. But for communication and success, it's always best to copy in everyone here in this channel. Why? If I send an email and only send it to you and I don't copy in team members, the chances of communication getting lost get really high. So Slack is always the default communication channel. And Slack has a lot of great tools. So I can send a video recording. Let's say you're busy, you can watch it when you're ready. Let's say you have a simple question, you can ask it in Slack. That way it allows us and you to stay on schedule without having to schedule a meeting every 15-20 minutes. Second, this is where your most important links are. So at the top of the Slack channel, of course, this will say, your brand, Slack, AdSquad channel. Up here, you have links. This is any needed links. So you're never going to have to search for where's my links, where's my document, where's this, where's that, right? And these are AdSquad provided links. Let's say we have discussion and we provide 2 or 3 other documents for a product COGS analysis or whatever it is, we would add those links here. If you have links, you can add a bookmark and add any links that you've got. So let's say you've got a Dropbox, let's say you've got a Google Drive with just tons of assets and information, just add it here. It's super simple and it's always there, it's never lost. But with that, we've covered the Slack channel overview. Let's talk about the intake doc. So if I open this, this is your intake document where you fill out all the needed onboarding information. Let's open it and go through it. Okay, this is the intake document. And it really walks through our process. And a lot of this I'll cover before, but the whole process of intake is defining what we know, what you know, and setting the expectations for a baseline. If there's something we don't know, we have to pay to find out that information. An example, does a 35-year-old who lives on the East Coast buy our product better than a 47-year-old who lives on the West Coast, right? That kind of information is all data. The more that we have, the more we know, the less we have to spend to test and figure out something we don't know. All right, so with that, you're going to go through this document. It's very simple. What is the assets that we need access to? Website, analytics, advertising platforms, creative and brand assets. We have this magical little link right here, which you can click, and it's a manage access. You click it while you're logged in, and it will share automatically everything from, let's say, your Google Merchant to your Facebook to your Google Analytics in one simple click. If you don't have that, you can do it the old-fashioned way and add the business manager ID here. More often than not, this link works first and best. All right, so with that, again, you going back down and through. How do we get access to the website back in? If you're on Shopify, add us or provide your partner ID. It's mybrand123.myshopify.com. Once you provide that, we request partner access because we're partners with Shopify. All right, so with that, it's going to ask some basic information, point of contact, targeting, tell us some history, some historical context. What have you tried? What haven't you tried? These things are really valuable. And then especially once we get down here to goals. Understanding goals really comes down to metrics and numbers. If you know what numbers you want to hit, list them. If you don't know numbers that you want to hit, also list that. If you know numbers that have to do with your cost of acquisition or lifetime value, which is CAC or LTV, that's really helpful. Some brands want to start and they're like, I want a 20x ROAS. Great, so do I. But where are you at now and what metrics can we work on? And that helps us establish goals. Then budgets per channel and of course reporting. Some brands see MQL, that would be a marketing qualified lead or SQL in place. Some brands do MQL, SQL for e-commerce. Some brands do MQL, SQL only for B2B or lead gen. Some do both. Whatever information you have tracked listed here in this intake, it's going to help everything. All right, with that, the rest of this is very self-explanatory. I would encourage you to complete this as much as you can because if not, we're going to have to ask or pay to find out. All right, let's go over to our task list. All right, In the task list, we've completed the intake, we've gone over Slack. Let's cover these other two topics and jump in. The first with communication is this. Baking is a really important concept. And I'm not talking about baking in your kitchen with a pie, but the analogy works. When we're baking, and that's what we do more often than not with strategy and paid acquisition, we're taking all of the concepts, everything that you've got, ingredients, we're putting it into a pie with what we know. All right, we're going to add this measurement of this measurement of that, and then we have to put it. Whether it's in Google, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, doesn't matter. There has to be a concept of time that passes to allow the algorithm to work. That's the baking process. If we're checking the oven too much, it's going to ruin the baking process. If we're taking the pie out, changing the pie into a cake, then changing it back into a pie, it's never going to bake properly. That's why with communication and what it is that we're looking for, success, it is really largely dependent on our ability to let things bake, whether or not it's going to be a perfect pie. But if we let it bake, then we can definitively learn what to do or not to do. And what do we use to bake? Obviously, data. Data is everything to bake. Data can be knowledge, it's customers, it's email lists, it's pixel data, it's iOS impacted, limited use. Everything that has to do with data is one of our primary ingredients. How, of course, we leverage these primary ingredients is through updates, communication, and strategy. So with that, let's go into what is tangible communication plan. So really for us, the week is always the same. We always start the day head down. Throughout the month, we always have bi-weekly meetings. That does not stop simple questions. If you have a simple question, that's like saying, hey, guys, I'm going to get this list. Is this worthwhile? Obviously ask us, hey, guys, I'm working with these new creative influencers. Super helpful to know. If it's questions like, should I launch this product or that product that don't really have to do with us, I would err on the side of asking, but eventually we'll fine tune that to a point that we're saying, hey, we really don't know what, color car you should buy at home, but in terms of your business, this color works best. So just as an example. And lastly, which is we also see it as really important, is Friday. Every week we do a video report. Every Friday, this is a short but valuable insight that says, this is what happened this week. These are my blockers. This is what I need from you. Here's a reminder of 3 things you brought up. That's really helpful. And we found throughout our weeks, it helps everyone stay aligned with success. This doesn't mean it's in place of bi-weekly meetings. We always have bi-weekly meetings, which is, 2 a month. And it doesn't stop emergencies or needs, or if we're in Q4 and we need to have a prep meeting, doesn't stop those either. But it is something that allows you to say, okay, this is what they're working on. This is what the numbers look like. We started a concept after the bi-weekly meeting. Here's what the progress is. All right, let's cover the last topic. And this has to do with communication. Last minute needs. We understand what it looks like with last minute needs. It happens all the time. I ran out of inventory. I just got this in. But what we always err on the side of doing is not letting last minute needs be our primary means of communication, right? Last minute's never success. Last minute happens. We're always ready for last minute. But if we can preempt last minute by being proactive, focusing on what's needed, providing what we can when we can on both sides is always the best recipe for success. Of course, we understand things happen. We can all plan on some things happening, but let's not plan on last minute. And lastly, for us, really it's the overall strategy. There's technical portions of everything, but the bigger way we find success is by always staying in line with our overarching strategy. Now, when and how we set your strategy has to do with our years of experience, our insights, what we're seeing in the market, what we're seeing with the cost to reach audiences. That overarching strategy is really the guiding light for us hitting and doing what it is we do best, which is hitting hard goals. All right, so with that, I'm going to come back up here, and that ties up everything for onboarding. Apologies, it's 9 minutes, but this will be really helpful for us to have a smooth kickoff. With that, let's get it going.